Good morning. This is Judge Tammy Long Hayward. This is the Clayton County State Court jail and probation calendar for October 11th, 2021. I'm going to call the calendar, and when I do, I'm going to ask that the attorneys respond on behalf of their clients. However, if the client does not have an attorney, then once we go into the breakout room, the attorneys will be able to ask if that client wishes to have representation or if they wish to represent themselves, at which point we'll ask them to speak directly with the state's attorneys. One moment. All right, I see that there are two calendars that Ms. Val sent, so we'll go, I'm gonna start reading the first one. Sabrina Ann Bird. Sabrina Ann Bird is a Lister Houghton Dennis client.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll need to conference this client.
Ezekiel Maurice Calhoun. Calhoun is not represented per the calendar.
He is a Lister Houghton Dennis client. He has a mental evaluation pending. Per his mother, they're waiting for an approval from Southern Regional Hospital for placement.
Okay, do we have a timeline? It's Southern Regional, I get it, but do we have any kind of timeline?
She said she was expecting a call today.
All right, so we'll continue him for 1 week. Deputy Calhoun can go back. He'll be continued for 1 week. Stephanie Leah Cherry. That is a petition, is it?
Yes, Your Honor, I need to conference of that client to communicate a possible update to her recommendation.
Antoine Jamal Clark.
If I could conference with the state on that matter.
Mr. Clark has two cases. One is a red light. It's pedestrian right-of-way case. So if you can talk to them about that, I can appoint you. That's no problem. Tamika Letitia Cook. I don't see that Ms. Cook has representation.
Ms. Cook is out the bond, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Yes, Your Honor. She's represented by Lister Houghton Dennis, but she's out to bond.
All right. Eddie Franklin.
He's out the bond as well, Your Honor.
Sequoia Linda Lynn.
Your Honor,
petition.
yes, Your Honor. So in this case, we are still awaiting the evaluation report. However, when we requested the evaluation, she was not taking her medication, and since she's been in jail and she's been medicated and taking her shots, and I believe she's competent. Will you be willing to proceed with her plea today?
Have you spoken to her today?
I spoke to her yesterday.
Okay. Mr. Brooks, did you have any objection to that? Because we can talk to her once she comes up and kind of assess where she is today.
Your Honor, it looks like, is this a probation revocation? It looks like her case was closed
Yeah,
on
it
June
looks like a
21st.
Yes, it's a probation revocation.
It was, Your
yeah.
Honor.
So, but I'd be willing to have her come up and talk to her. That's no problem.
All right.
Because if we can resolve it, then that would work if she's being medicated.
Right.
Cynthia Paulette McClure, that's also a petition.
I need to communicate a new recommendation to Ms. McClure.
She has two cases. One is a new case and one is the petition. So we can see if we can wrap all that up in one, one case.
Yes, Your Honor, I'll need to speak with the state while I'm breaking with them later.
All right, you don't have the recommendation for the new case?
I do, but there was some issues with the case that I wanted to bring up with them, and I only found out that it would be Mr. Brooks and Mr. White handling the calendar this morning.
All right, Shakia Renee Knight.
Your Honor, that's going to be a guilty.
Corey Morgan. I do not have that he's represented.
Your Honor, the care coordinators that so the evaluation is still pending. I haven't had an update from DBHDD. The care coordinators that we were working with to try and get him a placement so that he would not be in jail all this time have suddenly fallen out of contact with us. But I'm still working with his parents, and at this point, we're going to move forward on a referral to the Clayton Center. Is our best idea for placement.
Okay, are we moving forward on that today, or do we need?
It'll need to continue. Or we'll
All
need
right.
to continue.
Go ahead. Debbie, we'll send Corey Morgan back for one. We'll give him a continuance for 1 week. If there's an order that I need to sign, go ahead and shoot that to me this week regarding his placement. Terrence Prickett. That's a petition. It was Mr. Castaneda's case. Hello?
Your Honor, that's a petition from probation. He's online with us on Zoom.
Who?
Mr. Prickett.
Okay. And Mr. Prickett, is Mr. Castaneda representing you, or are you representing yourself, sir?
I think I'm representing myself. Yes, representing myself.
All right. David Saffel. I don't have that he's represented by anyone.
Your Honor, I believe he's OTB.
Okay.
Can we just confirm that?
All right. Okay, let's confirm Saffel. Devon Lathan Thomas.
Your Honor, I just need to speak. I've spoken to him already. I just need a minute to speak to him and update him about the recommendations.
Corbin Williams.
Your Honor, I believe that case is also an OTB.
All right. Next calendar is Kevin Souza.
Your Honor, that's going to be a guilty plea under the first offender.
All right, let's do the pleas. We have two that I know of. We have Knight and Souza, and then we can get those taken care of. And then the jail is going to send back Calhoun and let's see, Calhoun and Morgan. And then you all can speak with each other and the remaining people. All right, so Deputy, if you'll bring up Knight, we'll do that plea first, and then Souza.
Yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I don't think Souza is in custody. He, I see a profile.
Mr. Brooks, I don't think he's not in custody. Mr. Souza, right? Kevin Souza, right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's why I'm doing Knight first, then I can set up the breakout room with the jail, then we'll do Mr. Souza, and then whoever's not in the breakout room can go in at that point.
Okay, all right.
Miss Knight?
Good morning, Your Honor. How are you?
I'm good, but I'm sad. I'm seeing you again, and I shouldn't be. Why,
I know
Miss McKnight?
Your Honor, can I go ahead and be honest with you, Miss Judge? I've been going through a lot. I just lost my baby August the 7th, and I'm still in the process of trying to get her buried. I had just been going through a lot lately. She had died when I had her. She was stillborn, and it's been hard on me, Miss Judge Spencer. I mean, it's really have been hard, and going through the stuff with my ex-boyfriend.
I know, and my condolences on the loss of your child. That is so hard. How many children do you have now?
I only have 6. It was 7, but now I only have 6.
Okay, because last time I saw you, I think you had 5, and you were pregnant with the.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so Ms. McKnight, I have you here before me for abuse of a 911 call. Raise your right hand for me.
Yes, ma'am.
You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down. So you're before the court on 2022 CR 05085. You're represented by Mr. Kamani, and you're entering a plea of guilty. By entering the plea of guilty, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, you give up the right to have to enter evidence and testimony. You give up the right to present any evidence or testimony against yourself or not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am, I do, Your Honor.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
It's almost September 14th, 2022. Ms. McKnight did call Clayton County 911 dispatch in reference to a domestic disturbance. During the course of the 911 call complaint, she did start calling the dispatcher out of her name during the call and used appropriate and abusive language, which had no legitimate purpose in relationship to relaying the information related to the emergency call. This all occurred here in Clayton County. The state's recommendation She's 12 months to serve, 18 days. The balance is to be suspended upon no new violation. She's been in custody, continued custody from September the 14th of 2022.
All right. Mr. Kamani, anything else on behalf of Ms. McKnight?
Nothing further, Your Honor, except that credit for time served.
All right. Ms. McKnight, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 18 days. Credit since the date of lockup. Balance will be suspended as long as you have no new violations of the laws of the state of Georgia, okay?
Am I going home today, Your Honor?
I believe so, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right,
Thank you,
Ms.
ma'am.
McKnight.
I don't know.
All right, so for the jail, so I just want to confirm that Calhoun is going back down, Morgan is going back down, Cook, Franklin, and Williams and Safel are OTB. And I'm gonna do a breakout room right now.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Taylor, you can go into the breakout room and talk to some of those clients while Mr. Kamani does his plea. And then I'll set up a breakout room for the state if you need to speak with them. All right, so the jail and Mr. Taylor are in breakout room number 1. All right, Mr. Sousa. Mr. Sousa, raise your right hand. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Mr. Sousa, you're before the court on terroristic threats. This is Mr. Kamani's client. Mr. Kamani, are you and Mr. Sousa ready for a plea, or do you need to speak with the state?
We're ready for the plea, Your Honor.
All right, was Mr. Sousa pleading in this case?
Your Honor, he's going to plead guilty under the first offender.
Okay. All right, Mr. Sousa, raise your right hand for me. You give, Mr. Sousa, do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true? Can you hear me? Okay, so Mr. Sousa, it's something with the earphones. I can't hear you. But if you take the earphones out, I probably will be able to hear you. All right, can you hear me now? Okay, so on your device where it says audio, it either looks like a small microphone, an old-fashioned microphone, or it's the 3 dots next to your name. You can click on that. But when you click on audio, you should be able to choose computer audio or device audio. Can you hear me now? Okay, so I still can't hear you. Yeah, so for some reason the headphones don't work well. So if you, can you see the 3 dots next to your name? Can you click on that? If you touch next to your name, if you have touch screen, there should be 3 dots. Click on those 3 dots. Let's see. Maybe not. Yeah, I don't see it there. Down at the bottom of the screen or at the top of the screen, do you see audio? Okay. All right, you unmuted. Are you talking? Okay, I still can't hear you. Can somebody help him? Because I have a computer. I know what it looks like on here, but I'm having trouble kind of figuring out what Mr. Sousa has. Because Mr. Sousa usually is something at the bottom. It's either something that says more at the bottom, or it's something that looks like a little, it's either bottom or top. I'm sorry, something that looks like a little old-fashioned mic. There you are. Okay, so it says you're connected to audio. Can you say something for me?
I'm here.
Okay, do you have your phone on also?
I do not know.
Okay, all right. So, do you, sir, do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true? All right. So you're before the court on 2019 CR 08859 for terroristic threats. You're represented by Mr. Kamani from the law firm of Lister, Holt, and Dennis. And by entering this plea of guilty, sir, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any evidence or testimony against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Sousa?
I do.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On July 26, 2019, officers with the Riverdale Police Department learned that the defendant, Mr. Kevin Sousa, did make a threat to, quote, beat Mr. Kirby's ass. Mr. Kirby was an employee of the Fleet Clean business, which Mr. Sousa formerly worked at, and was Mr. Sousa's supervisor before being terminated. This all occurred here in Clayton County. State's recommendation, Mr. Sousa had no prior history and was PTI eligible. And so state's recommendation is 12 months probation, $100 fine, anger management. He's not to return to Fleet Clean. The address for Fleet Clean, if I can find that.
And that's Fleet, F-L-E-E-T.
Yes,
Clean.
ma'am. Yes,
Okay.
ma'am. Fleet Clean, USA 6208 West Lees Mill Road, Riverdale, Georgia 30274.
All right. Mr. Sousa,
Is to have no contact with Mr. Kenneth Kirby and to complete 40 hours of community service.
all right. So Mr. Sousa, Mr. Kamani, do you have anything on behalf of Mr. Sousa?
Nothing further, Your Honor, except he has an outstanding bench warrant that may be recalled. Since
All
he's-
right. May I have a bench warrant set aside on behalf of Mr. Sousa? And Mr. Sousa, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty under first offender. I'll sentence you to 12 months probation, a fine in the amount of $100. That's going to be $151.50 with the surcharges. You're to take an anger management class. Probation will help you identify which class is appropriate. And you'll do 40 hours of community service, and you'll not to go back to Fleet Clean or have any contact with Kenneth Kirby. Do you understand all of these things, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Sousa, I'm sure we know that that wasn't the appropriate way to deal with the situation. And since that's the only thing you've got since 2019, I'm sure that you've matured since then. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
All right, so does the state have objection to this terminating upon completion of the conditions?
No, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Sousa, what I'm asking is that as soon as you've completed payment of the $100, the anger management class and the 40 hours of community service, as soon as you do those, your probation will terminate, which means you don't have to keep reporting and you don't have to keep paying. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so I'm going to put you in a breakout room with Mrs. Thomas. Mrs. Thomas is the probation expert, and she's going to explain everything that you need to do to successfully complete probation. But like I said, as soon as you have completed those conditions, then you'll be able to finish your probation term early if you complete early, okay?
Okay.
All right, so Mrs. Thomas, I'm putting you in breakout room number 6. Mr. Sousa, I'm going to put you in breakout room number 6 with Mrs. Thomas. Once you've finished speaking with her, you do not have to come back to the main room unless you have a question for me or your attorney, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, you should have gotten the invitation. I think he's frozen, so I think he's going into the breakout. All right. Okay, so at this time, the remaining cases are Bird, Cherry, Clark, Lynn, McClure, Prickett, and Thomas. Yeah. So, Mr. Kamani, did you have a need to speak with the state before I put you in the breakout room?
No, Your Honor, you can just put me in the breakout room with the jail.
Okay, so breakout room number 1, I'll put Mr. Kamani. All right, so the attorneys are in the breakout room, and once you all start coming back and giving reports, then we'll be able to continue.
Your Honor, could I have a breakout room with the state?
Mr. Taylor, you need to breakout room with the state.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Brooks, I need to put anybody else in the breakout room with you and Mr. Taylor?
Mr. White?
White. Okay. All right, Mr. Taylor, I'm moving you to breakout room number 2. Mr. Brooks, I'm putting you in breakout room number 2, and Mr. White, breakout room number 2.
Your Honor, I didn't get an invitation to breakout room. Oh, there it is. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Your Honor, I have some new information I need you to go back to the jail with.
All right, Mr. Taylor, breakout room with the jail.
Yes, Your Honor.
1 second. All right. Well, why is the water filter? Huh. What you looking for Papa for? You need something? Huh? Oh, okay. He might have gone to the garbage bin. Yes, ma'am.
Your Honor, I have announcements.
Your Honor, we have announcements.
Go ahead, Mr. Taylor and Mr. Kamani.
Ms. Sabrina Bird has indicated she no longer desires the representation of the law firm of Lister Holt and Dennis.
Okay. Does she want to resolve her case today, or is she entering a plea of not guilty?
She didn't answer me one way or the other.
Okay, so we'll speak to her. Cherry?
Stephanie Cherry will stipulate to the technical violations and accept the recommendation of time served and return to probation.
Okay. Next.
Oh. Sequoia Lane, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know if it was still going down. Antoine Clark is going to be a negotiated guilty plea to in both of his cases. And
Okay.
Miss Cynthia McClure, the new case will be a negotiated nolo plea, and the probation violation she will stipulate and agree.
She's not eligible for the no.
A guilty plea then.
All right.
Your Honor, for Sequoia Lane, stipulate and agree to the technical violations. And for Devon Thomas, he's going to plead nolo to counts 1, 2, and 3. Count 4 will be dismissed.
All right. Mr. Prickett?
Yes.
Okay, so Mr. Prickett, you have a bond revocation. Have you received that? I'm sorry, a probation revocation. Have you received that paperwork? Do you know what they're asking the court to do?
No, not that I'm sure.
Okay, so Mr. Austin or Ms. Chang, can you read to him what the court is asking so he'll have time to consider since he wishes to represent himself?
Your Honor, this is Ms. Chang. I'm
Yes.
not sure. He was served on September 29th with a copy of the petition.
Okay, he may have forgotten. Just if you could just read what the allegations are.
Yes, Your Honor. Probation is, well, Mr. Prickett was placed on probation for the offenses of battery, simple battery, family violence, simple assault, family violence, and criminal trespass on the 11th day of November 2021. And he was sentenced to 12 months probation, according to the sentence on file on the record of this case. The defendant has 29 days remaining on probation. The sentence was not told. Probation is alleging that the defendant violated the terms and conditions of his probation in the following. The defendant failed to report to probation by mail on December 15th, 2021, January 15th, 2022, February 15th, 2022, March 15th, 2022, April 15th, 2022, April 29th, 2022, May 15th, 2022, June 1st, 2022, July 15th, 2022, July 29th, 2022, August 15th, 2022, August 31st, 2022, 9/15/2022. He also failed to report in person within 10 days of September 19th, 2022, per a letter that was sent to him. And on September 27th, 2022, as directed. He last reported to probation on September 29th, 2022, when he was served with this petition. We're also alleging that he failed to comply with counseling and that he failed to document proof of participating in a family violence intervention program as directed. At the time that he was served with the petition, he had documented 4 of 24 classes as of March 17th. However, today he has provided 11 of 24 classes as of May 4th. However, Mr. Prickett has stated that he has been discharged from the program and that he will be resuming this coming Sunday. Further, the defendant has failed to complete community service. The 80 hours, 0 hours have been documented, and he has failed to pay as instructed. He is currently $775 in arrears, specifically $275 in court-ordered fines, $500 in probation supervision fees. He has only made one payment, Your Honor, $50, and that was made on September 29th. He has a total obligation of $775. Time
Why-
remaining on the case is 29 days.
Why have we waited so long since Mr. Prickett absolutely did nothing that I asked him to do?
Yes, Your Honor. Just because it was my understanding that no walk-in hearings were being held. So,
Well, he failed to
Because of
report that many
COVID.
times. He could have been arrested.
he was like reporting in between those days. It's not like he totally failed to report. Let me look at.
Okay, so he was essentially doing what he wanted to do, except everything I asked him to do.
Right. I mean, I would speak with him like August the
Okay.
5th. That was a
Mr.
phone.
Prickett, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes.
All right, so Mr. Prickett, your charges were extremely serious, but we gave you the opportunity to go on probation. Now, I would have reported you and had you arrested a lot earlier than this, but I don't bother Ms. Chang and Mr. Austin about what they do because they have a way of doing things, and that's their way, and it works well. But in this
Right.
case, I feel like we should have had you arrested a long time ago because you didn't do anything I asked you to do. And you work, and this is the other thing, you got a good job, so you can't afford to spend 29 days in jail.
I really can't, but like I said, I apologize. And when I did speak with Ms. Chang, I had a lot of things going on. And like I said,
Mr. Prickett, everybody got a lot of stuff going on.
yeah, I know.
But
That's why I
those
said
of
it's
us
no
who
excuse.
know we got a lot of stuff going on don't get in trouble. We don't go and have violence in the home, and we don't do stuff that attract the kind of trouble that's going to make us spend time in jail. We lay low and deal with our other problems, but we don't, but if I give you time to work and earn a living, but all I ask you to do is these things and you haven't done any of them, well, I feel like you're like, well, whatever she said.
No, it's I promise you, it's not that. It's not that.
What's the recommendation?
Revoke the 29 days remaining, Your Honor.
Mr. Prickett?
Yes.
So the probation is asking on this case that your probation be revoked for the 29 days and that you be arrested. You spend 29 days in the Clayton County Jail. After that, your case will be over.
So there's no other option.
Nope. No, I'm not feeling another option. This is 2020CR09209. Yeah, Mr. Prickett, you have previously said you didn't want your attorney representing you. You said you
I
wanted
mean,
to
I didn't even know who my
yourself.
attorney was.
I
So
told you who it was.
I didn't.
But I mean, I just don't understand what people think I'm gonna do when they don't do anything I ask them to do. You
It's
have
not.
had, no, sir.
I'm sorry.
You've had since November of last year. You haven't finished the 24-week classes. You say you're gonna start again on Sunday. How many classes you think you can get in now to the 29 days you got left? Not very many, sir. You didn't do the community service that I asked you to do, or that I ordered you to do. You didn't do. I mean, it's like you did nothing. You did what you wanted to do.
I really like I said, there's really no excuse, but I've been working a lot.
It isn't an excuse.
You're right, and like I said, I've been working a lot. Like I told Miss Chain and Mr. Austin or whatever. They got us on 7 days, 12 hours mandatory. So it's like,
Since November.
yes. No, I'm sorry. No, not since November, but for the last 3 months, I've been on 7 days, 12 hours. And then before that, like
before
I said,
that, then I'm sure y'all have holiday time. You ain't do no community service during that time.
yeah, you're right. And like I told Miss Chan, also the director of the class, and with that, within like 2 to 3 months, I had three deaths in my family, and like it's a lot. It was a lot, and I'm also like dealing with a whole nother probation, so it's like it's juggling a lot. It's juggling a lot. So
all right, what's the recommendation? 29 days.
29 days, yes, Your Honor.
All right,
Oh
so
my
Mr. Prickett, you can turn yourself in today when you get off work, or you're gonna be arrested. And what you don't want to do is have them arrest you at your good job. So you might need to tell them you need to take an extended break, but you'll be back in a month, or however you're gonna work that out. But at the end of your shift today, you need to turn yourself into the Clayton County Jail by 7 p.m. If you do not
I
do
get
that,
off at 9.
well then
My
by
shift is from
tomorrow.
9 to 9.
No, if you were in the courthouse, you'd be taken into custody, and I don't want you to miss any of your days. So we'll just have you arrested. That's okay. They'll come get you now. He's at Coca-Cola.
They don't. I mean, I can get off. Or you said by 7, but I don't. And then I have to talk to my supervisor, so I won't lose my job.
You better go talk to your supervisor. If you don't turn yourself in today by 7, they'll be at your house, your mama house, your girlfriend house.
All right.
I don't feel bad, Mr. Prickett, because I gave you options.
You did, but like I just, man, it's just so much. It's just so much, and I wish you could really understand. But like I said, you did.
Mr. Prickett, this is the problem. I do understand. This is the issue. You are not the only person with stuff going on. Everybody on this call has stuff going on. Everybody on this call, a lot of the people on this call have lost people in their lives within the last year, especially with COVID. Everybody got something, as they say, but your something ain't more special than anybody else's something. So if everybody else has to do what I asked them to do, if everybody else has to show up and do what they need to do, why should I make an exception for you?
Yeah,
I do understand, trust me, but what you can't come in here and do is decide that for an entire year, you're just gonna do what you want to do, despite the fact that you have a piece of paper that tells you exactly what I said you're supposed to do. Now, the fact that you work in 7 days and all of that, that's all well and good, but that benefits you. It don't do nothing for me or this program. And if you were working 7 days, some of this money you should have paid should have been paid. You owed should have been paid. So you'll turn yourself in today by 7. Otherwise, you'll be arrested. So I'm giving you the opportunity to work something out with your work, and maybe they'll understand, but you should have told them earlier when they put you on 7 days, you should have told them, look, I got an obligation to the court and I don't want to lose my job, but I also don't want to go to jail. So my order is defendant shall have the remainder of his probation revoked and shall return himself into the Clayton County Jail by 7 p.m. this evening. Anything else, Ms. Chang or Ms. Austin?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Oh my God. Is that it for me?
Yes, sir. Did you have any questions? If you don't turn yourself in by 7 p.m., there's gonna be a problem. We clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. All right, thank you. All right, Mr. Austin, the order's coming over.
Thank you, Your Honor.
I don't know what it is, Mr. Austin. Anytime I try and send you all something from what y'all send me, I can't send it back. So let me do a new one.
Okay, no problem.
All right. All right, so Bird, it will be representing herself. Clark.
Mr. Clark will be entering negotiated guilty pleas as to both case ending in 1167 and TK 11215.
Deputy, Mr. Clark. Mr. Clark, raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true.
Yes.
You can put your hand down. You're before the court on State of Georgia versus Antoine Jamal Clark, 2022 CR 01167 for criminal trespass on case 2022 TK 11215. It's pedestrian failure to yield the right of way. My understanding from your attorney is that you're entering a plea of guilty to both cases. By doing so, sir, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, Mr. Clark?
Yes.
All right, factual basis and recommendation, please, Mr. White.
Yes, Your Honor. On February 18th of 2022 in Clayton County, Georgia, the defendant knowingly and without authority entered the premise of BP gas station located at 4950 Old Dixie Road, Forest Park, Georgia, after having received notice for authorized representative that such entry was forbidden. And the recommendation, sorry, Your Honor. The recommendation is 12 months to serve 45 days. The balance will be suspended upon the defendant staying away from the BP located at 4950 Old Dixie Road, Forest Park, and having no new violations of the law. And the second case, which is the yield case, will have the same recommendation, run concurrently with this one.
Okay. All right, anything else, Mr. Taylor?
Nothing further, Your Honor.
All right. So, Mr. Clark, I'm going to accept your plea of guilty to both cases. On the case 2022 CR 01167 for criminal trespass, I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 45 days, balance suspended, as long as you do not go back to the BP and have no new violations of the law. On the case ending 11215, the TK, I'm going to sentence you to 12 months to serve 45 days, balance suspended. That'll run concurrent with the case ending in 01167. All right. You can go back with the sheriff, sir. Thank you. All right. Cherry.
Mr. will be stipulating to the technical violations only.
Raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give in this matter.
Yes.
You can put your hand down. So, Ms. Cherry, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Stephanie Cherry, 2022 CR 00163. You were before this court on June 9th of 2022. You were sentenced to 12 months on theft by taking. You have 6 months and 14 days remaining on your probation. It was not told. Your attorney is Mr. Taylor. It's alleged that on this case, you have the new offense of criminal trespass, 2 counts on September 27th of 2022, that you failed to comply with counseling, you failed to complete a theft prevention course, and you failed to pay your $350 in arrears. Mr. Taylor, you're indicating that your client is wishing to stipulate to the technicals only. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. What's the state, I'm sorry, what's probation's recommendation in this case?
Your Honor, after speaking to Mr. Taylor, my understanding is that she was in a domestic violence relationship and she was trying to get away. She currently has a bed at the I think I may be saying it right, Securus house. That sounds that they're waiting for her to get in. So she's been in now since October the 6th. She is to receive credit and return back to probation and provide proof of completing her course, and then will terminate upon her entrance of entering into the domestic violence shelter.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, is that correct? That's what you're.
I just want to make sure my understanding of Mr. Austin was correct. The Securus house we are still working on, but she does have somewhere to go in the immediate between now and Securus house.
Okay.
So there's a middle step where she's staying with a friend for a few days before going to Securus house, but that's still the plan.
All right, is that going to be secure? Like
Yes,
it's
me.
so Ms. Cherry, sometimes what we worry about is not so much whether you're going to be able to get into the program or not, but whether wherever you are is secure. So going to your friend's house, is this someplace that the person is your abuser, is that someplace they know, they're familiar with, can get to?
Oh, he doesn't know anything about any of my friends. And I already spoke to her mom. It's okay. with
Okay.
it. They're
Well,
actually.
you don't have to tell me anything else. I just wanted to know that it is secure and that it's not something that is accessible. So I'm going to give you credit for time served. You'll return to probation. So make sure that once you get your information from probation, that you do what's necessary.
Can I use a change of address? Because if you send anything to my mom's house, I'm not gonna get it.
Okay. So what I'm going to ask you to do is I can put you in a breakout room with your attorney and he can get that change of address information. And that way you don't have to say it on the call. Okay. All right. So before you do that, is there a report?
Where you at, Ramsey? Huh? Which one you at? You on one?
Not me.
So are we closing her case upon her entry into the program?
Yes, Your Honor.
I'll put upon proof of having entered the program. So ma'am, you have to let probation know once you enter the program, okay?
When is the next time I have to see Mr. Austin?
If you have transportation, you can report tomorrow morning.
Okay, I'll do that.
And then you can provide me the update for your address.
Yeah, you can give him your change of address at that time. That way it's not on the record anywhere here, okay?
Tomorrow morning at what time?
09.
All right, so Miss Cherry, I'm going to order that you'll receive credit for time served and you'll be returning to probation. Upon entering the Securus House program or whatever program that you enter, you'll show proof of having done that to Mr. Austin or Mr. Clayton or whoever your probation officer is, and then your case will be closed, okay? But you can provide the change of information to them directly, right?
Okay. And I got proof that I took the class the day before.
Okay, that's fine. You can give that to them.
But it's at the guy's house.
Okay, then don't do that. All right. Don't worry about it. Just go talk to Mr. Austin and he'll help you figure it out, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Cherry. All right, Bird.
Bird. Bird. Bird. 2370. 2370.
Ms. Byrd?
Yes.
Okay, so you're before the court for a criminal trespass. My understanding is you do not wish to have Lister Holton Dennis represent you.
Yes, I do not know Mr. Taylor.
Okay, he's an attorney. I didn't expect that you would know him, but we have appointed him to help you with your case. Did you want to speak to him about your case? I know him. He's an attorney. He's licensed to practice in the state of Georgia, and he represents a lot of the individuals who come before us in Clayton County. Do you wish to have him help you with your case?
We spoke briefly right before, what was that, about 10:30? And he stated he doesn't know anything about asylum seeker law. He would not be able to represent me because that's who I am. And that was
Asylum seeker?
He doesn't know the law on asylum seeker, no.
Okay, so let me just be clear. My understanding of an asylum seeker is someone who's coming from another country who had difficulty in that country due to certain requirements under the federal law and is seeking asylum in the United States.
Asylum seeker is any individual. Also in this country, any country, anywhere on earth, seeking asylum from persecution, from someone being wrong, attackers, and and I've been attacked even here at the jail already. So he didn't research.
So let me ask you this, because this is new to me too, this form of it. So you are stating that you are being persecuted by whom?
Okay, I will speak with an attorney in regards to all of that information, because listening as far as the whole entire situation is concerned is not able to have everything out on the table right now.
Okay, I get that. So did you want me to assign another attorney to you? Or do you have the resources to get your own attorney?
I do not have money, if that is what you're asking, to purchase an attorney for someone to represent me. But was someone who would know the law on asylum seeking, that would.
So Miss Byrd, that's going to be a hard one for us, because the law that we deal with when it comes to asylum seekers is under the federal code, and that law requires the asylum seeker to be someone from another country seeking asylum here in the United States for the purposes of immigrating to this country without having to go through other means of immigration. So it's like an expedited means of immigration in order to allow you to escape the persecution, either political or criminal, that's going on in the other country.
Okay, that is not correct. An asylum seeker could be anyone.
Okay, do you know of an attorney who is knowledgeable?
Any individual, a human being.
No, I got that part. That's your assertion. Do you know of an attorney who is knowledgeable in this type of law that I could appoint to your case? Do you know of an attorney who is knowledgeable in this type of law that I could appoint to your case?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to continue your case for a week so that I can figure out if we have somebody who knows or is aware. And then we'll bring.
Searching. I mean, you have the written down information and it is obtainable.
It's just about the person who's researching.
I get that, ma'am, but even if the information is attainable right now, nobody's going to be up to speed in the next 5 minutes on what you're talking about to be able to assist you in the way that you need assistance. So I'm going to continue your case for a week so we can find someone who can assist you. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You can go back with the sheriff's office. Thank you.
Also, I would need to speak with this person before.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to ask them to come to the jail to speak with you. So you may get a jail visit. It may be, sometimes they do Zoom visits at the jail, or they do a visit between you and them in a divided room. But if you get a call out to get an attorney visit, that'll be them coming to see you. All right. Thank you, ma'am. And Lynn, please.
Season 2.
All right, Miss Lynn, raise your right hand for me. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you can put your hand down. One second, Miss Lynn, let me find your petition. Is Miss Lynn is a petition, correct?
Correct, Your Honor. It was her. I just resent it to you. She
Okay.
was back on. We reset her back from June of 20.
Okay, all right. Okay, I just got it. Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, so Miss Lynn, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Sequoia Linda Lynn, 2022 CR 02081. And you're represented by Mr. Kamani. And you were before this court on June 21st of 2022, for a battery case, and you had 11 months and 1 day remaining on probation. Your sentence was not told. All right, so ma'am, you're before the court. It's alleged that you've committed a new offense of criminal damage in the 2nd degree and failure to avoid contact with a Tahaja Hearn or Tahaja Sims on June 23rd of 2022. So, Mr. Kamani,
Yes, Your Honor.
is she stipulating to the failure to avoid contact?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So I'll indicate that she's stipulating to technicals only.
That's right.
All right, what's the recommendation in this case?
Your Honor, the recommendation on this case was 60 days to serve. At this time, she has been in now for 108 days, so she can receive credit for time served and close this case out.
You said 60 days to serve?
Yes, Your Honor. And credit back since the date of lockup, which is June 21st.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kamani, did we have some concerns regarding competency to enter into this agreement?
Not as of today, Your Honor. She's on medication and she's receiving medication at the jail, and she's understanding whatever I discussed with her.
All right, so Miss Lynn,
Yes, ma'am.
you understand where you are, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you've spoken with your attorney. Are you comfortable with what we're doing today? Do you have any concerns?
Yes, ma'am. I'm comfortable with everything. I
Okay,
appreciate you.
all right, ma'am. So Miss Lynn, all I'm gonna ask when we're done is, do you have a regular doctor that you see?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay, make sure you stay in touch with your doctor and stay on your meds, okay? Because when you're on your meds, you're good. You got me?
Yes, ma'am, I promise.
Okay, because I want you to be okay. I don't want you to be back here.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So defendant shall receive credit since the date of lockup. Defendant shall have 60 days revoked.
Sure.
Time served. Defendant's case shall be closed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Lynn. I'm gonna hope you're gonna do okay out there, all right?
Yes, ma'am, I will. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna send that over to you all. Anything else,
No.
Mr. Kamani?
Nothing further, Your Honor. But I believe
right.
Mrs. Sim wants to say something.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Judge Hayward, I'm
Oh, I'm
Sequoia's
sorry, Miss
mom.
Sims. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I'm Sequoia's mom. I was just wanted to tell you that it was okay that she does return home. It was never an issue. I understand her mental illness, so I never had a problem with her coming back to the address that they said that she wasn't able to return to.
Okay. Okay, so I have that she shall return to her mother's home, which was the incident location.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, ma'am. So Miss Sims,
Yes, ma'am.
are you a member of NAMI? Do you know about
Yes.
that organization?
Yes, ma'am. When we last met on the last incident, you gave me all the information. It just so happened Miss Sequoia did get out that day. 2 days later, she said wasn't able to take her medication, and she had another episode, which led to this incident right here. So I fully understand what my child goes through. So I have no
Okay.
problem making sure I'm there for her still.
All right. Well, I appreciate that. And like I said, NAMI is helpful because they may know other things that could help you help her. So,
Yes, ma'am.
if you feel like you want to get involved with the Georgia chapter, they do a lot of work to assist and to also they do a lot to advocate on behalf of Miss Lynn or the family to figure out the best ways so that we don't have to get involved.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All
I
right.
understand. I just had one question, Judge.
Yes,
The incident that she was charged with, she would be bonded out. She would be capable of being bonded out with that charge today.
It's not my charge, so I don't even know, if it's a misdemeanor, it's gonna come to me eventually, but the magistrate court would still have it. So you have to check and see if they have a bond, because when someone is on probation, generally there's a possibility that they could no bond her
Okay,
in magistrate court. So check with them and see what the status is, and then let them know that her probation case has been handled.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that might change that might change things.
Okay, that's great. Great news.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Sims.
Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
You too. Take care.
Bye-bye.
All right, Mr. Kamani and Mr. Austin, I'm sending it over to you all, distribute it as necessary, because like I said, sometimes when I reply to the group, it doesn't go through.
Will do, y'all.
Next is Lynn. Oh, I'm sorry, we've done Lynn's. McClure. So we're ready on McClure, and I got a petition and the
Did Your Honor want to handle the revocation first? Or perhaps we should do the new case first, since it's my understanding that the revocation is going to run concurrent to the new sentence of the new case.
That's correct.
we can handle the new case first. Miss Cynthia Paulette McClure,
Yeah.
raise your right hand for me. You solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
All right, Miss McClure, are you in pain?
Very much so. I have a colostomy bag and it's leaking and I'm hurting so bad. I'm sorry.
All right, is it possible to give Miss McClure a chair and adjust the camera?
Hold on.
Miss McClure, we're gonna try and make this as quick as possible, ma'am, so that you're not in any discomfort for as long as, because once we get this done, we can move you to the next step, okay? All right, Miss McClure, I can see you just fine. All right, so you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Cynthia Paulette McClure, 2022 CR 00034 for driving on a suspended or revoked license, no tail lights. Also, you're before the court on a probation revocation. That's on case 2020 CR 08736. Your attorney has indicated that you're entering a plea of guilty. Is it guilty on just the no license, or guilty on more than one of those? On the driving on suspended or revoked license?
Oh, Your Honor.
I believe
I just want to.
Hold on, ma'am. Mr. Taylor.
the no license should merge, isn't it?
Yeah. I just didn't know which one you were pleading to.
1 and 3.
Okay, 1 and 3. All right. And with the, one second. So, ma'am, by entering a plea of guilty to counts 1 and 3, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to present evidence and testimony on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself or present any testimony or evidence against you. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So on the petition for revocation, you were before this court for driving on a suspended or revoked license, no yield sign or stop sign violation, and expired or invalid tag. On the 12th day of August 2021, you were sentenced to 24 months on probation. You have 10 months and 1 day remaining on probation. Your sentence was not told. And it's alleged that you have the new offenses of possession of a firearm by a felon on a first offender probation and reckless conduct and failure to pay. So, Mr. Taylor, is your client stipulating to the failure to pay technical in that case?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. All right. So, may I have the factual basis and recommendations in the new case?
Mr. Brooks, are you speaking? You're muted.
Yeah, I can't hear you, sir.
I apologize. I was saying as I was looking through the case, Your Honor, I apologize to the court, but because I believe that this may be a 4th and 5 offense, which makes it a felony.
Yikes.
So I don't know that the court has jurisdiction. She has a prior conviction for the same offense from 2017 in front of this court. She had it also from 2021 in this court and another one from 2021.
Yeah. All right. So, Mr. Taylor, Mr. Brooks, what I can do is we can go ahead and do one of two things. We can complete the probation revocation and then send the other case to Superior Court, or we can just stop all of it and send it to Superior Court.
Could Mr. Brooks and I have a breakout?
Sure.
I think there's a legal issue we could discuss here.
Okay, so I'm going to put Mr. Brooks and Mr. Taylor in breakout room number 2. Mr. Brooks, you're already in that room. I'm going to move Mr. Taylor to breakout room number 2. And when we come back, we'll do Mr. Thomas. We can do Mr. Thomas. Mr. White, do you have Mr. Thomas's case, or is that Mr. Brooks?
I do not, Your Honor, but may I be put in Mr. Brooks's breakout room?
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so when the state comes back, we'll complete Thomas.
Mr. Brooks, do you have the incident date for the one in 17? Because if it was filing date to filing date, it would be 4th.
February 18th, 2017.
Sorry, you got cut off the first.
February 18th, 2017.
17/18/17.
2017, yes, sir.
And the newest incident.
It's March 28th, 2021.
Okay.
So incident date is February 17th, 18th, 2020, February 18th, 2017, May 25th, 2020, and July 15th, 2020. And then this latest incident is March 28th, 2021.
So this is going up to.
Your Honor, I think we're ready to proceed.
I need a moment to talk about this new development with my client and the way that it interacts with probation.
I'm sorry, what'd you say, sir?
I need a moment to talk with my client and the way that this new development interacts with probation.
Okay, so I'm gonna put you in a breakout room with the jail. So Mr. Taylor and the Clayton County Jail are gonna be in breakout room number 1. So if the jail will go into breakout room number 1. All right. Okay, I need the jail to go into breakout room number 1. Jail to be in breakout room number 1.
We're ready to proceed with the revocation, Your Honor.
Ms. Hayward will be right with us momentarily.
All right, did we make a decision?
Yes, Your Honor, we're still ready to go forward stipulating to the revocation.
I'm sorry?
Ms. McClure is still ready to go forward with the revocation, stipulating to the technical violation.
Okay. All right, Ms. McClure. Ms. McClure? Is she there?
Hey there, Judge. Miss McClure is in a decent amount of pain. Miss McClure, you still want to see
Okay.
the judge? Or you want to just go?
Ms. McClure is in pain and we got other stuff going on. Let's just go ahead and move this a week. We're gonna continue this until next week.
Copy on.
Y'all get
Yeah.
Ms. McClure some help.
Judge, she still wants to
Yes.
come before you. She still
She
wants to come
does?
before you.
Okay, if that'll help her, I'll do it.
Okay.
All right, Ms. McClure, this is the stipulation. Your attorney has indicated that you're stipulating to the technicals with respect to your petition. What's the recommendation from probation?
Your Honor, in Ms. McClure case, she's now been in since October the 2nd. For the technicals only, it was to receive credit on time served and close this case out.
All right, so Ms. McClure, the court is going to accept that. I'll sentence you to time served, and this case will be closed. With respect to the remaining case, has it been determined to be a felony?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so ma'am, your remaining case will be sent to Superior Court, and at this time, I'm going to complete the petition order and then send you back with the sheriff's office so you can get some help, okay?
So I still have to stay the 60 days, right?
You'll get credit for time served, is that correct?
That was correct for probation, just the technical only, not the technical.
Yeah, we have for probation, you'll get credit for time served, and this case will be closed, but you still have that other case that's pending, okay?
Which is the when I got back in March.
Right,
And it's the probation that's keeping her in custody.
I'm sorry.
I was saying it's the probation warrant that's keeping her in custody. She's out the bond on the other cases.
Okay, so you're out to bond on the other case, so once we finish this case, you'll be able to go back on your bond.
Okay, so how long do I have to sit in jail?
My understanding is once we do the paperwork, you'll be released because you have a bond on the other cases. If you've made bond on the other cases, you're good.
So I can go home today?
It's my understanding, yes.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, take care, Ms. McClure.
Thank you, Mr. Austin and Mr. Taylor.
All right, for the jail, can we get Thomas up, please?
No, especially me. No, I said don't.
Raise your right hand for me. Ooh. There we go. Raise your right hand for me, Mr. Thomas. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any testimony you give in this matter will be true?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. One moment, Mr. Thomas. Let me go ahead and send this order over to Mr. Austin and Mr. Taylor. All right, Mr. Thomas, you're before the court on State of Georgia versus Devon Lathan Thomas, 2022 CR 05201 for criminal trespass, obstructing an officer, giving false name, address, or date of birth, and public drunk. Your attorney, Mr. Kamani, has indicated that you're entering a plea of guilty to counts 1, 2, 3, and count 4 will be no prost.
Nolo. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
He's going to plead nolo.
He's nolo eligible. Okay, I'm sorry. You're entering a plea of nolo to counts 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be no prost. By entering this plea, sir, you give up the right to have a trial by jury or judge. You give up the right to have the state prove your guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. You give up the right to have the presumption of innocence in your favor. You give up the right to confront witnesses, subpoena witnesses, present testimony and evidence on your behalf, to not incriminate yourself. And if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty or no contest could negatively impact your immigration status. Do you understand all of these things?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, factual basis and recommendation, please.
Yes, ma'am. On September 20th, 2022, officers with the College Park Police Department responded to 1888 Sullivan Road, Comfort Inn, regarding a male refusing to leave. Officers made contact with that male, identified that person to be Mr. Devon Thomas. During the course of the encounter, officers did make contact with him. After requesting him to leave, he did refuse to the officers as well. When inquired about his identification, he gave the false name Robert Berry. At the time the encounter, officers did believe that they smelled the odor of alcohol about his person, and his behavior suggested to them that he had been drinking. This all occurred here within Clayton County. State's recommendation: state is going to be null processing count 4, the public drunk offense. Count 1 is 12 months to serve 30 days. The balance is to be suspended upon him not returning to the Comfort Inn located at 1888 Sullivan Road in College Park, Georgia. Count 3 is a $300 fine to run concurrent to count 1, and count 3 is 12 months to serve 30 days to run concurrent to counts 1 and 2.
Right. Mr. Kamani, anything else on behalf of Mr. Thomas?
Yes, Your Honor. For the obstruction, there's a $300 fine. He'll require 60 days to pay those fines.
Okay, all right. Mr. Thomas, I'm going to accept your plea of nolo to counts 1, 2, and 3. Count 4 will be no pros. I'll sentence you to 12 months to serve 30 days, balance suspended. You're to not go back to the Comfort Inn in College Park. You're on count 2. It's a $300 fine. It's going to be $444 with the surcharges. You'll have 60 days in which to pay that. If you don't pay it within the 60 days, an arrest warrant may issue. And on count 3, 12 months to serve 30 days, credit for balance suspended to run concurrent with count 1 and 2. All right. Anything
Your
else?
Honor,
Yes, sir.
he should. He's been in custody since 20th September. So credit from the time of lockup.
Credit since the date of lockup.
Yeah.
All right. I believe that is the entire calendar. Thank you all. And we'll see you next Tuesday.